this TReDS facility is a boon to all the MSME companies, and at least minimum 1% to 2% interest rate you can save when you start using it, both as a customer, as a vendor. So definitely every MSME company has to check and explore this opportunity.
Welcome back to MSME Talk podcast for micro, small, medium enterprise businesses and startups.
This is episode on CFO Voices on TReDS, part of MSME Talks Industry Insight. In this, you will hear experience and perspective of finance leaders from small, medium, and large businesses who shares real experience of enabling trade receivables electronic discounting systems in their businesses for better cash flow, profitability, business growth, vendor management, etc. Before we begin, a quick note. The views expressed in this episode are the CFO's personal experiences with India's TReDS system and are not influenced by any specific TReDS platform or MSME Talk. For better experience, I would suggest you to switch to 1.25x speed, and also don't miss to subscribe at the rate MSME Talk on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. Thank you so much, Mr. Dhamarajan, for joining MSME Talk to share your feedback on TReDS facility which you are using. So, Mr. Dhamarajan, can you briefly introduce yourself and your company?
Hi, my name is Dhamarajan. I'm a CFO of this company called Premier Spinning and Weaving Limited. We have 3 group companies under this group. We manufacture yarn as well as the finished fabric. So we are a 7-decade-old company. We are actually based out of Coimbatore, and we generally do around 750 crore turnover.
Okay, very nice. Mr. Dhamarajan, when you first heard about the TReDS, what was your initial perception about it, and did you have any doubts or hesitation about using it and adopting it in your working?
Yeah, actually, when I heard about this facility around 3 years back, that time I had a lot of doubts because I was not knowing about this particular facility. It has been given for this only for actually MSME people. There is a facility like this we can use. It was very new to me, and actually once I learned about it, then all the doubts and hesitations got removed. But definitely, yes, I had a lot of hesitations to do about it.
Okay. So, Mr. Dhamarajan, since you adopted TReDS in your business group, what benefits has your companies experienced? Could you just share any specific benefits across, to our listeners and who are your CFO peers also?
Yeah. Actually, I can list down 3 very important things which had happened. Very good things to overcome this one. One, I actually we buy a lot of cotton. That is our prime raw material. We generally get only around 15 days of time period to pay our vendors. But after we started using TReDS, we got 90-day credit period because we can get the extended credit period through TReDS. This was a very good thing that we got. Then the second one, we got a little lower interest rate than our cost of actually funding. Actually, initially we got around 0.5% lesser interest rate when we started using TReDS, but it will change upon actually every quarter. But we are getting definitely a lesser interest in TReDS facility. This I will say actually one of the thing, and then the third important thing is this facility is a completely 100% not a secured facility. So when you are going for any secured loan or any kind of facility with the bank, this particular facility will be over and above that. So it is actually basically an off-balance sheet item. So you can actually still enjoy all the secured loan facilities from your all your banking things. Apart from that, you can have this as a 100% unsecured facility, which will be very good for any CFO to work with.
Okay, so Mr. Dhamarajan, did you also experience that business turnover also was supported to increase because you started TReDS, so the turnover or cycle also improved?
Not really, because this really helped in actually managing our working capital better. So what we did was, earlier we used to cover only 90 days cotton, but since we got an actually extended credit period, we had the liberty to extend our for example, we actually started getting around 120 days cotton or 150 days cotton, which helped actually leveraging the cost.
Okay. And have you seen more profit because supported because of the cost reduction? Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of working capital cost reduction, definitely there is a, uh, I will say around 0.5% to 1.2%, depending upon which quarter, we have definitely saved in our working capital interest.
Okay, so 0.5 to 1.25%
Yeah,
benefit you have saved on the costing of your
yeah.
borrowing. Okay, so Mr. Dhamarajan, are you using TReDS facility actively every month, and do you intend to use it in the future as well?
Yes, we are using it now. Uh, we are using it almost all our MSME vendors. I will say around somewhere around 80% of all our payments are routed only through the TReDS platform, because we deal actually mainly with MSME vendors. So we are also using it as a customer, as a vendor, from actually both the sides. We are continually using it, and it is actually benefiting our company.
Okay, so Mr. Dhamarajan, approximately how many MSMEs are registered as a seller, on for you?
So somewhere around 400 vendors are there in our portal.
Okay, very
Yeah,
nice. Mr. Dhamrajan, you mentioned specifically you're using it as a buyer and seller both, right?
yeah.
So when you started this as a beginning, or how did it happen that you started using it as seller also?
See, actually, we actually started to know about this particular thing through one of our actually customers. So he only actually forced on us that, why can't you actually get into this platform? I will make my payment through this platform. Then after some time, we started using this facility for all our vendors, because in actually both the ways it will help you. One, when you are releasing payment, you will get actually at least 60 days of actually extended credit period with a lesser interest. That is a boon. When if you are actually going to release the payment, that will help you. But if you are a vendor and you are going to get a payment from the customer, you can get an actually early payment from the customer by actually discounting actually your whatever your invoice you have made, you can discount it at a much actually reduced interest rate, and you can get that money as quickly as possible into the system. So in as a vendor, as a customer, in actually both the ways, it is very beneficial for any MSME company.
Okay, very nice. So, Mr. Dhamrajan, which TReDS platform are you working with, and how has been your experience with them?
Yeah, we actually work with the platform called RXIL. Okay, and we are working them for the last all the 3 years, and we are getting an excellent service from them, because in this platform, whenever you get any new vendor, you have to get it registered. It may take around a week, 10 days. It needs a lot of follow with the vendor. And when you are loading any quote for any payment, it needs a lot of coordination with the banks to get bits at the right time. You have to close it within the same day. So all those coordinations, we are getting excellent support from this platform. So we are very happy about it, and we are actually continually using with them.
Okay, very nice. Good to hear that. Mr. Dhamrajan, what would you like to tell other CFOs and MSME company owners who are still not using the TReDS?
Okay. See, I think this particular platform, this particular facility is there for a long time, but I still feel it is not very very much known to everybody. Okay, still a lot of MSME companies are going to bank. Okay, they are getting loan at a very high interest rate, because not actually every company can have an excellent rating. So actually, only when you have a good rating, you can get get actually very good interest rate from the bank. So, but this TReDS facility is a boon to all the MSME companies. and at least minimum 1% to 2% interest rate you can save when you start using it, both as a customer, as a vendor. So definitely every MSME company has to check and explore this opportunity.
Okay, and also the companies who are buying from MSMEs, what the message you would like to give to them, and you're still not on TReDS?
See, actually, they have to use this because this is an excellent tool for all the MSME vendors. Only when they will help the MSME vendors to get their payment as early as possible, they can also actually negotiate a very good term with them. It will be mutually beneficial. See, for example, if anyone will quote any price only with some kind of a working capital, what kind of a working capital they are actually having, what kind of interest they are actually making to the bank or anybody. They will definitely put those costs also into the costing, and then only they will quote to any big company. When any company helps the actually MSME vendors to get this kind of a thing, to get their actually payment as early as possible at a much interest rate is actually very less, then obviously their cost also will come down. It is because this is actually a vicious chain only. When they get benefit, they will pass it on to you. So there should not be any kind of reluctance for anybody actually not to use this platform.
Okay, very nice. And last question to you, Mr. Dhamarajan. What is that one piece of guidance you would share with fellow CFOs on how to get the best out of the TReDS? Like any one secret or any one hack you have learned over the last 3 years and which you would like to give away and
Okay.
share?
Okay. See, when you are actually when you actually get into the TReDS, don't actually limit only with one bank or two banks. Get at least 3 or 4 banks to actually participate in your TReDS portal. So this you can coordinate with your TReDS partner. It can be anybody. So please get 3 or 4 banks to participate in the bid. And you have to actually keep a watch on repo rates. When there is a reduction in repo rate, you have to ask the all the banks also to actually reduce the rates. So there has to be a continuous dialogue, because the actually only when you actually continuously talk to the bidders also, you will get actually maximum benefit out of it. And don't limit yourself with only 1 or 2 banks. Get at least 3 or 4 banks to actually participate. Then there will be some competition within them. You will get some kind of for example, somebody will quote an X percentage, then the next bank will quote actually a small, for example, somewhere around 0.1 to 0.2%, somebody will reduce and quote. So only when there is a small competition, you will get actually the benefit. So this we have been following it up with them.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Dhamarajan,
Thank
for
you.
giving your time and sharing your experience of using TReDS and inspiring other CFOs of the large company who are not using it, or the MSMEs and the MSME owners to explore using TReDS. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Trupti. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Satish, for joining MSME Talk to share experience for TReDS facility you have been using in your companies. Mr. Satish, please share briefly about yourself and your company.
Sure. So, hi, this is Satish Kotakota. I'm a chartered accountant and I'm an INSEAD grad from France campus. I work for large organizations like Coca-Cola and HSBC, where funding was never a challenge, but I also worked for small, medium, and large enterprises where working capital is always one of the major challenges, or one of the major needs for their business growth. So I have advised and worked for mid to large grown organization into infrastructure industry, where we have introduced TReDS 1.5 2 years ago. That was one of the successful, or one of the most sought after tool, or sought after funding opportunity that we could introduce to the company, which fueled the growth of the organization like anything. From a zero order book by 21, today is 19,000 crore order book, and very much in another 6 to 12 months time there'll be 30,000 plus crore order book. So that I think MSME TReDS as a limit has helped them tremendously in arranging the working capital, especially when the organization is growing super fast and bankers are not really and having an appetite for supporting the super fast growth for ABCD types of industries. We have deployed I have deployed similar TReDS limit exploration across multiple other companies where I have been advising, and it's like, it's a smooth game for them, either getting the limits, getting the vendors onboarded, or getting the suppliers accepting for TReDS channel, etc. has been a smooth game. But I would at least at the same time say it has to be, measure and, implement kind of a tool that we need to use it for. We can't just go, whatever is the TReDS limits available in the market for your company should be used. So probably we can talk about it much later. But the industry that I worked for TReDS in major numbers are infrastructure, and a bit in IT services, and a bit in tech services, or edutech or fintech services.
So apart from the turnover benefit which you got in infra company, any specific benefits would you like to share? Those companies have got.
Yeah. So one, the cost of funds on TReDS is and at least 100 basis points less than your working capital, at least 100 basis points. You go with a large banker, it could be even 150 or 200 basis points lower than your working capital cost. Two, it doesn't get calculated for your balance sheet loans or leverages. If you have 1x, if you have 100K or $100,000 as your capital or net worth of the organization, and TReDS does not get calculated to calculate the leverage. So that's a big tool that helps you managing a working capital efficiently. Your suppliers are happy, your project is progressing or your business is progressing, and your in terms of overall support for the company is extremely good, and you still have to say it's not part of my balance sheet when it comes to leverage. So that's the second advantage. And three, the time it takes to get you a TReDS limits is much lower and much lesser compared to assessment of working capital loans, or compared to assessment of term loans for typically large projects or mid-sized projects that you do. And three, there is no as a product, right? There is no margin money to be deposited by the borrower. There's no skin in the game in terms of capital infusion linked to the TReDS limits that you get. I mean, assume you get working capital limits, you're supposed to get a margin money to issue a BZ. You're supposed to get a margin money to issue an LC. But whereas when it comes to TReDS, you have zero cash infusion required. I would say this has really helped the industry, subject to one or two loopholes in the product wherever you go. I would say this has huge helped the industry, both from a buyer perspective as well as for a seller perspective. I think one of the best tools introduced by the government to enable finance and supply chain efficiencies within the MSME sector. I congratulate the leadership, whoever has designed the product.
Yes, it was actually started by Dhamarajan way back. It was a paper introduced by him, and in his tenure as a RBI governor. So the history goes way back, and bringing learning some from Brazil and other countries, and then designing the product.
Okay. That's a really good tool. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Mr. Satish, since all the companies where you're taking care of the finances have got benefit of TReDS, do you continue actively on an every monthly basis use TReDS, and you intend to use continuously in the future also?
I would say yes, we should continue to have TReDS as part of your borrowing portfolio, or as part of your overall cash flow planning. For two reasons I've already mentioned. It is not part of your leverage calculations. It is not as expensive as your working capital. Forget about private finance or equity investments coming into the organization. And two, it's a tool, or it's a product that will make you connected to the MSME suppliers more easily than large organizations. It has got a double whammy again. Because you want to use TReDS limits, you engage in MSME suppliers, he will send you a notice after 45 days. So that's a challenge you deal with as part of the industry and regulations. Of course, you need to gain something, so you'll have to give up on something else as well. I would continue to focus on using TReDS wherever I'm working and wherever I'm advising, subject to a clear assessment of what your industry is. Are you a B2B or are you B2C? Are you a growing organization? Are you a static organization? Are you having dependency on the government inputs or government cash flows into your organization? Is it central government? Is it state government? If it is state, which state government it is? Depending on your certainty of cash flows, you'll have to leverage your TReDS limits. Just because you have limit one day, you will trouble to repay it at later stage. So we have been very conscious in how much limits do we we do leverage in our organizations, and we advise our colleagues and team members what to take and what not to take depending on the industry. Yeah. So assume you're a retail company, you will be selling every day. So your cash flows are more or less set in unless the product is really bad. Whereas if you're a B2B, your cash flows come in a large ticket size. So you should make sure you have money in the bank account for meeting your NASH debits and mandates. So that's why we have been able to 100% successfully be able to manage, but it has to be planned efficiently. That's one thing that we need to be conscious of.
So, Mr. Satish, which TReDS platform you have been using in your companies, and how has been your experience?
We use all the three, especially all the three past RXIL, M1 Exchange, and InvoiceMart. Among the three, we found, or I found, RXL as more better and quick response time, better relations with the bankers to get you limits on fast track basis, better influence on the decision makers to present your right story to the decision makers who gives you the TReDS limit. So I would rank RXL on top of anything else. And then turnaround times are also pretty good compared to other two players in the market. Yeah, they come with their own strengths and weaknesses. Somebody's tech platform is better, somebody's response time is better. But when it comes to response time and SLAs, etc., I found RXL much better.
So, Mr. Satish, what would you like to tell other CEOs, CFOs, and MSME companies who are still not using the TReDS facility?
There are two reasons why people might not be using. One, because when you are applying for TReDS limits, either as a supplier or a buyer, you will be exposing your documents to the regulators, KYC details, bank documents, bank statement has to be submitted. So few people are little uncomfortable sharing and opening up their organizations' financial matters to outsiders. That could be one. And two, awareness maybe not fully available. And three, most of these MSME companies are still run like a family-run small organizations where the decisions are taken by promoters who are very conscious of taking additional exposure from banking ecosystem. I would highly recommend people leverage on this product as an availability for borrowings, for suppliers, as well as for buyers, to have this thing opened up. And when it comes to suppliers, I think it's a good tool to gain more business. If I say I'm a TReDS registered, and you get a credit facility from a lender as a borrower or as a buyer, I think the opportunities of ability to sell is very high compared to not registered with TReDS. And in fact, I have noticed in certain industries, very few industries, they open multiple entities. Assume you're a manufacturer of a good and you are having one distributing company. So that I end up seeing them making 2, 3 distribution companies in the same. So the manufacturer sells to the distribution company and distribution becomes your TReDS registered supplier. So they split that such that their MSME registration is still valid and they still fall for a bill discounting on TReDS platform. That becomes a good planning by the owner or the promoter of that manufacturing company. And large organizations, right? If you assume you are a large Ultratech or any large organization for that matter, sometimes they encourage their distributors to be registered on TReDS so that the supplies will still reach out to the end user through a TReDS platform discounting channel. So the distributor is registered. So the large manufacturer supply to distributor supplies to the end user of the institution.
So, Mr. Satish, what is that one piece of guidance or a secret sauce or a hack you would like to share with your fellow CFOs on how to get the best out of the TReDS since you have been using very thoroughly at multiple companies?
There are 2, 3 I would say, unless your supplier is not supportive to register themselves on the TReDS. Everything else can be purchased through a TReDS channel. I've already disclosed it. Either the direct manufacturer distributes through their own distribution company or through a distributor, outside distributor. Even the most expensive product or even the large capex items can also be purchased through TReDS. All that you need to plan is make sure your invoice value is well within the TReDS limits, and maintaining a good MIS of planning how much of tenure I should bid for, when is my repayment date, maintaining who's bidding at what average rates, looking for, and sometimes TReDS bid prices or the coupon rates are not fixed. Because it is linked to their ALM requirement of the bank. So you can always negotiate, ask them to bid at lesser prices if you are eligible based on your credit rating. So one, routing the transactions through a good established distributor of a large company is still a viable solution. You still buy, a company having $10 billion transaction can also sell products through TReDS distributor to the supplier, to the buyer. So that enables the transaction. Two, you plan your MIS very well such that your TReDS, overall enjoying the TReDS benefit is smooth and easy. Yeah, I think these two are the major points I want to tell.
Thank you so much, Mr. Satish, for your valuable feedback, sharing with your fellow CFOs and the MSME businesses on TReDS facility. Glad you joined MSME Talk for your feedback. We'll see you again in some other chat.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mohapatra, for joining MSME Talk. Can you briefly introduce yourself and your company?
Yeah, thank you, Tripti ji, for having me here. And it is wonderful talking to you. I represent Hearth Constructions Private Limited, okay, as its Chief Financial Officer and as a key management person. I have been in this company for last 8 years almost. And the company is a civil construction EPC player, purely a government contractor. We are in the areas of national priority. We are constructing airport terminal buildings, integrated court buildings, medical colleges, hospitals, high-rise residential quarters, Maharashtra police housing, and the Sainik school, to name a few of our projects. The company has already crossed, the group turnover has crossed more than 1,200 crores last year, and growing at a pace of 40% from last year onwards.
Okay, great. So, Mr. Mohapatra, when you first heard about TReDS, what was your initial perception? Did you hear any doubts, or did you had any doubts in your mind or hesitations before adopting it?
No, from the very beginning, we were aware of the national government's digitization program, Digital India. Okay, and this was part of the Digital India program, wherein they wanted to bring in the bottom of the pyramid, the MSME sector, into the digitization. So, in order to establish not only transparency of the transactions, but also, to make digitization a habit among the constituents. So we were absolutely clear because, since I'm a chartered accountant and I'm fully aware of bill discounting, which we used to do manually, and this is bill discounting on a digital platform. So we were aware of the concepts, but having said that, but this is a digital platform, so how will the platform behave in terms of its various constituents? How long will it take? What is the TAT? And what are the efficiencies that the platform will bring into the system were not known to us. So in order to get acquainted with the same, I personally got involved right from the beginning, literally, as we call it, dirty one's own hands. Okay, right from vendor registration to approving the bids. I was personally involved for few days to get myself oriented with the system.
Okay, got it. So, since your adoption of TReDS, what benefits has your company experienced? Maybe you can share some 2 to 4 improvements in your various areas if you have come across, and share with your peer CFOs.
You see, as a CFO, as I call it LPG, that I am in the business of liquidity, profitability, and growth. As I call it, the LPG. Okay. So TReDS platform first is liquidity. It brings into my system liquidity. Then profitability, because as I pay the vendors upfront and the discounted banks give me credit till from 90 days to 180 days. So it gives me leverage to negotiate the rates with them. So I'm improving the profitability, and by bringing in more and more players into the system, this gives me the ability to grow the revenues faster, because the work execution also gets executed faster, because liquidity goes downstream to all the constituents, and that helps the company to grow. And that is very evident that in 3 years' time we have more than doubled our revenue and still aspiring to grow at a 40% rate. So certainly this trade platform has helped the growth of the company in a very big way.
Okay. It has helped in your other specific areas, like maybe bottom line, net profit increasing,
Yeah,
or
that's why I said profitability LPG.
yeah,
It helped my
it has helped you in
liquidity.
all the areas.
Yes,
Okay.
the entire LPG, the three pillars of my business:
Okay,
liquidity,
got it.
profitability, and growth.
Okay, and in credit rating, did you get any
Uh,
support?
see,
Like,
uh, see, credit rating is a function of liquidity of the LPG only. You see,
right?
because of this TReDS platform, the liquidity of the company has grown, growth of the company is established, profitability also has grown. So that has helped the company to move from a triple B rating to today. Currently, we are A minus rated a company,
Okay.
and that has also helped our the bid prices to crash from when we started from 10.5% per annum to we are doing it at 7.9%, sub 8%.
Very nice. So overall, there is a benefit in your
Tremendous amount of
profitability.
tremendous amount of benefit not only to us but the vendors that have got registered with us. At one point of during COVID time, many of the vendors, the business was completely, logistics were completely crippled. You know, that time we were not able to pay the vendors for almost 6 months, 7 months, things like that, and now people get paid in 7 days.
Right. So a lot of relationship with the vendors has also improved as per your experience.
Yeah, the relationship has also improved, and not only that, that also has helped them to execute the projects at a faster rate.
Very nice. So, Mr. Mohapatra, you still want to continue using TReDS, and currently, actively you are using it, and in the future also.
Yes, trades has become a part and parcel of our business. Okay, it is very much a constituent. As we are in the construction business, trades platform is part and parcel of the very DNA of the business now.
Got it. So, which TReDS platform are you working with, and how has been your experience?
Yeah, so it is a platform which brings in what they engage with us on a day-to-day basis. They give us MIS on a day-to-day basis. Okay, so it has been a very good experience with M1 exchange, because we have tried other exchanges. So the other exchanges do not match up in terms of their engagement on a day-to-day basis.
Okay, got it. So, Mr. Mohapatra, what would you like to tell other CFOs and MSME companies who are still not using TReDS?
No, see, the what we found when we struggled first, you see, the challenge was in-house and the challenge was external, both. So when I introduced the TReDS platform and I asked for registration, I only got 7 names. Okay, and from those 7 names, because the KYC is a very cumbersome process, even if today also it is a cumbersome process. You see, and the number of documents asked for, it creates an apprehension in the minds of the MSME vendors. That is because the awareness is still not spread to the vendors. The benefits are still not spread. We have registered, we are doing the business with 500, more than 500 vendors, And being a Nashik-based company, we are one of the largest, what you call, the company in terms of bringing the MSMEs into the TReDS platform. However, still it takes, when we started, it took almost 3 weeks to get, because we could identify two champions who could volunteer to come on the TReDS platform. We started at 2. When the discounting happened, the word of mouth spread, and then the 7 came, then the 15 came. From 2022 or 3 years now, from 2 to 5, more than 500 vendors, that is the journey that we have taken. So, I would request all the CFOs to conduct a vendor awareness program to tell the vendors how it can benefit them first, and then the company. So for them, it is a two-pronged battle, because to convince the in-house, the management, and plus convincing the vendors. So it's a win-win value proposition. So definitely the CFO should take the lead. It has to be driven by the CFO.
Okay, got it. So it has to be driven by the CFOs.
By the CFO.
Incorporation of TReDS facilities
Yes.
in the businesses, whether it is a large company as a buyer or as a MSME as a buyer or a seller.
Very
Okay.
true.
So, Mr. Mohapatra, what is that one piece of guidance you would share with fellow CFOs and how to get the best out of TReDS since you have been using since few years?
See, the best to get it is, first of all, your cost of goods sold, okay, is a major constituent of any business. More than 70 to 75% to 85% can be the cost of goods sold. Depending on what is the constituent of the MSME, like for us, it is definitely more than 30 to 35%. Now it can go to 40% of my revenue, which the MSME vendors bring to the table. So, if you get, I told you 3% crashing the business, what you call interest rate, can give them, the complete mileage of substantial savings of interest cost, rather the procurement cost. They can negotiate better. They can have better liquidity. So it is the CFOs who can contribute much better by adopting the TReDS platform.
Okay, got it. So, thank you so much, Mr. Mohapatra, for joining MSME Talk and sharing your experience of using TReDS as a facility for invoice discounting and increasing the ecosystem for the MSMEs, also involving more than 500 MSMEs you have incorporated on TReDS through your setup, which is really commendable.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you so
also feel
much.
proud to be part of the nation building program of the government of India.
Absolutely,
Part of
absolutely.
So that motivates us.
Absolutely. So thank you so much and all the best for your business growth. Let it grow at 100% and just not 30-40%.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Dear listeners, since last 3 years, you have been listening to MSME Talk audio podcast on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, etc. Now it is available in video format on YouTube as well. Also, I would like to tell that more information and updates are not covered on podcast, for which you have to ensure that you subscribe our newsletter and follow us on social media. Links are given in description.